Hi everyone, welcome back to the Bumpkin News. Today we want to talk a little bit about Pelosinomics. What is Pelosinomics? Pelosinomics is an economic system that exists in somebody's mind that has no bearing on reality. It's kind of like I believe that I can go out on I-95 on the New Jersey Turnpike and play in the middle lane, and there'll be no ill effects from that. Well, that's in my mind, and in reality, I would soon find out that that's not the case. This is what Pelosinomics is based on. I want to ask you a question. What are three ways that the government gets money? You should know this. Every American that graduates from high school should know this. Number one, taxes. Number two, they borrow it. And number three is they just make it. They just print it. Okay, let's go back and look at how an economic system begins. The most primitive is the barter system, where I have something of value and I want to trade it to you for something else of value. I have a wheel and you have some corn, and you need a wheel for your wagon and I need corn to eat, and so I trade you my wheel, which we estimate is worth let's say 2 bushels of corn, and we make the transaction. And then it also, among the people that were of more means, used gold as a measure of trade, and that was more convenient because you could you had the smaller, physically smaller size, and was worth a great deal. Okay, somebody we'll take gold. Somebody had to go get the gold out of the earth. They had to work for it, and once they dug it out and whatever they had to do, refined it. If it was a refiner, they traded it to him for something, some good, some service, something, and they acquired the gold. Well, pretty soon, when we've got a free country like we do America, the government, to sustain the operations of the government, began to levy taxes. And what is one of the easiest mediums of transaction is gold. And so the government began to tax, and the tax payments were made in gold or something maybe that could be traded for gold, put in the treasury. So then the government began to use that gold as the basis of the monetary system, which meant that they could create coins, or they could issue paper money, which was representative of the equivalent amount held in reserve in gold. Like we had Fort Knox used to be the reserve for the United States currency system, which it no longer is, but and so it's very convenient. Everything's nice and tidy. Go back around the mid-1800s, the government minted the $20 gold piece, which was representative of a basic day's labor for 1 month, 8 hours a day, 50 cents a day, by 5, by 4, that's a month's wages. Interestingly enough, if you look at the value of an ounce of gold today and divide it by 4 and then divide it by 5, you'll get about the minimum wage. So the value of gold hasn't changed, but our currency, the value of our currency has greatly changed. When we were on the gold standard, each dollar that you had represented 1/20th of an ounce of gold, and these values held pretty steady until the advent of the personal income tax. Well, we got to a point where government likes to spend money, so they said, well, we don't have enough gold to support the kind of money that we need, so we'll go off the gold standard, and we'll call the gold in. People that have these gold coins, they've got to turn them over to the United States government. Yeah, this really happened. And then we'll go to the silver standard because we got a lot more silver. So they went on the silver standard for a while. Uh-oh, we don't have enough money, so we'll just take it off the silver standard, and the next thing you know, we've got a currency out here that's not really backed up by anything but what you and I think it is. And so the government continues to borrow money and go deeper in debt, and if that doesn't give us enough dollars to float around, we'll just print some more dollars. And so every dollar that's printed means our dollars are worth less and less. If there was $1 in existence backed up by the same amount of gold or silver, and the government printed another dollar bill without adding to the gold or silver reserve, then the dollar that I have would be worth, that you had, would be worth half as much as it was. Or if there were $3, it would be worth 2/3 of what it was. So this is where we are today. We've got a currency that is really not worth anything, just what we agree that it is worth, because it's not backed up by anything. Okay. Pelosinomics. Nancy Pelosi said that the best way to create jobs is to provide unemployment benefits. So using that thought process, that means that the most thriving job centers, the epicenters of job creation, would be in places like Detroit and New York City, and those places that have the highest unemployment rates and the greatest expenditures in unemployment payouts. So that means that if you need a job and you want a job, go to those places. Detroit, New York, some other cities around the country that are in extreme economic distress and unemployment. According to her economic system, those are the places that are thriving with job creation. Now, when money is given to somebody that has no job and is on unemployment benefits, where does that money come from? It comes from someone that does have money. And so when the money is taken away from somebody that has it, that's less money that they have to spend. That's less money that will go back into the system. So it does nothing to spur economic growth. It does nothing to create greater demand, but it pretty much causes us to be static and stagnant and stay right where we are. What is the way that you can generate money? Productivity. If I have no money, the best way that I can get it is to go out and work for it. Go out and dig for it. That's the way that money is generated, is by productivity. That's the way the gross domestic product is increased, is by productivity. Money doesn't appear out of thin air. And I think you can see the fallacy of Pelosinomics in this little video that we had today. You got any comments, questions, remarks? We'd be glad to hear from you. And be sure to check the notes at the introduction to the video. See you next time. This is the Bumpkin in Chief.